The 8-year-old Michael Real was at Roan Mountain State Park just north of Great Smoky Mountain National Park with his mother and sister in July of 1983. He told his mother that he was going to bring water from a nearby water fountain. After a while, the mother noticed he had not returned back, so she searched by herself first and then called the authorities. On the same day Michael went missing, a heavy rain started to pour down which slowed down the search effort. 3 days after not finding any trace of Michael, 30 paratroopers from the army came to the area for help. Later on, 140 more troops came to the area. They used their special skills and tools such as night vision equipment and had help from canine and bloodhound dogs, but nothing appeared to be working. On July 10th, 7 days after Michael's disappearance, a search team found him alive 2.5 miles from the campsite he disappeared from. This exact area was searched before, but he wasn't there at those times. He was found exactly 1 week after he went missing. Michael stated he spent some days in a deserted cabin in the woods. The army and the searchers never found such a cabin. Michael also stated he spent time watching television with his grandfather. The mother of Michael found the stories fascinating. She stated Michael had no recollection of ever meeting any of the grandfathers, as both were deceased. Michael later stated 2 days before searchers found him, he had seen his mother and called to her so he wouldn't get lost again. He said he'd seen an old man getting drunk on Budweiser beer and a gallon of bourbon. He said he didn't ask help from the man because he doesn't talk to strangers. Michael also said he had eaten bacon and eggs with his grandfather on the morning of the day he was found. When searchers found Michael, they stated he appeared to be well kept and his hair seemed to be combed and clean. They said he appeared to be in a good spirit despite being out for 7 days. The clothes of Michael was dirty and he had scratches on his ankle, but other than that, he was good. How Michael spent 7 days in the wilderness and who was he with during this time remains a mystery to this day. The Edwards family and their 8 children lived on a tenant farm 1.5 miles outside of Pilot Mountain of North Carolina. This farm is 100 miles northeast of the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. It's also close to lots of swamps and wooded sections. On January 9th of 1965, the 9-year-old Bonnie was playing with neighbors' children in an area that was inside of the Edwards farm. Bonnie always stayed close to her house because of her disability that showed her younger than what her age really was. After playing for some time, she stated she was tired and was going to head back to her home. At 4:30, when Bonnie had not returned back, her family decided to call the authorities and report her as missing. The sheriff was put in charge of the search and rescue team, and within hours there were around 1,000 searchers including local volunteers, firemen, police officers and National Guards on the scene. There were also helicopters and dogs to help with the search. One day after Bonnie went missing, a local farmer who was part of the searching team found her curled up in a brush pile close to her residence. She was dead. When they examined her body, they said she was dead from exposure in the morning. The area they found the girl was searched at least 3 times before, but Bonnie wasn't there at those times. They never found out what happened to Bonnie and why she didn't ask for help if she was in the area with 1,000 of searchers around remains a mystery to this day. The Mason family had 6 children. On October 11th of 1949, the 6-year-old Otis was playing in the backyard of his house with 3 family dogs. At night, once dinner was ready, the mother called for him but he didn't show up. Then she sent the other 5 kids to find him, but he was nowhere to be found. Then she went and checked the backyard herself, and after not finding him, called the authorities. Few hours after Otis disappeared, the 2 family dogs returned back home, but the third one was still missing. After 24 hours of searching, the searchers found a vacant home 2 miles from Mason residence. Once they got close to the house, they thought they heard a strange muffled sound coming from an underground area. They pulled the lid off an empty septic tank and found the third family dog inside. They couldn't explain how the dog managed to enter the tank, especially since the lid was on, unless someone put the dog in there. On the second day of searching, the search group was 2 miles from the residence, searching a thick wooded and swampy area behind the residence when they found the body of Otis under a bank close to a creek. He was dead. The searchers were shocked from the finding because they were sure they searched this exact area several times before, but nothing was there at those times. After autopsy, the cause of death was reported as drowning. But why would he leave the safety of his house and lose 3 dogs to get drowned? Dogs don't just leave the owner, and how the third dog ended up in the tanker are the questions we'll never get answers for.